a doctor with us. So I'm just going to add my today's speaker. We have a very special speaker today, and it's Dr. Sneha. So I'll just wait for her to join us today. Hi, Sneha.
Hi Sonia.
Hello.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. So I'll give a quick introduction to all my audiences. We have with us today Dr. Sneha Desu, and she's a doctor turned entrepreneur driven by passion for physical and mental wellness, and she has a very strong desire to help individuals to lead a healthy lifestyle. She's a winner of Devil's Circuit of 2015-2016, and Sneha has done many certification courses on fitness before starting her consulting by the name of Vigour, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Dr. Sneha with us, and as I said, she is a doctor turned fitness enthusiast, and Sneha inspire a lot of people via Instagram, via social media. I have been following her, and it's so inspiring just to see her in action. You feel like you want to get started and you want to get fit. So that's Dr. Sneha with you. And I hope we will all learn a lot. So welcome, Sneha, to School of Life, and it is a
Thank you so
pleasure to have
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Great. So, Dr. Sneha, just tell us something. How did this happen? Like, what was the, you are a doctor and then you just turned it around and became a fitness enthusiast. It's not a regular thing. Not every doctor does that, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the turning point? How did it start? Tell us a little
So,
bit about it.
as you've mentioned, Sonia, it's actually a very rare shift, especially in India, because everyone's so, all families are so academically driven. Just like
Right.
mine, everyone was, one was in IIT and one was, in BITS Pilani, and I was just, made to be the doctor in the family. So
Right.
I did get a merit seat and I was doing quite well in my studies as well. But, I just never felt like my, uh, passion stayed there. I felt like I belonged somewhere else. I felt like I had to do something more. And that was always there, but I really didn't know where and I didn't know what to do and, how to get out of this. So I just kept studying, finished my course, and I just joined this CrossFit box that just newly opened at that time in 2013. And I had
Right.
two American coaches, who were here for about 6 months, just training people, clients at that time. So I was always lean. I was an athlete in school, but because of med school, so many years of inactivity and you're just flogging it out. There's no time for anything else. So
Right.
there was about 8.5 years of a gap, and I didn't really get back to sport or anything. And I just, one of my friends got me to just try this. They said, "Oh, it's a new kind of training. You should try it out." And I just
Right.
walked in and I thought, "Oh, I'm lean. It's okay. I'm probably fit." But I was so surprised to see that I could barely do anything. So even now, if I go back to my videos from back to 2014, it's so surprising to see how I was struggling to do one push-up or you're struggling to do one snatch or small movements like that. Um,
Right.
and I'm very in general I'm a very competitive individual. So I was wondering, why am I not able to do this? I need to sort of break out of this and probably prove myself wrong and fight back. So I just
Right.
was very inspired by how much of a mental task it is to complete something like a workout. And I wanted to
Right.
go back, and I kept trying every day until I got really good. And there was a time where I was probably competing with a lot of guys in the gym, and we were all really
Wow.
at each other's throats, getting great scores. So it was really exciting for me to. So CrossFit for me was extremely competitive back then. Whether it's competing with your own scores or with your partner's scores. So it really gave me that drive, that something that I was missing throughout my med school. And I thought, at the back of my mind, I thought, okay, maybe something in the lines of fitness, but I really didn't, demarcate and think, should I be a trainer or should I get into sports nutrition? I was just a bit confused, but I
Right.
really enjoyed every bit of, exercise. So I think the turning point I would say was I was just trying out Devil Circuit for fun in 2014, and I went with
Right.
all my CrossFit friends back then, and I didn't really particularly train for it, but I won it that year.
Wow.
And then I thought, okay, maybe this is something, I can take on seriously. At this
Right.
point, I was already, ready to leave to Scotland for my master's. My parents were all, ready to send me off and
Yes.
probably, watch me come back finishing my master's. And while all this was happening in 2015, when I did Devil Circuit, I was approached by the owner of F45 India back then. And
Right.
he was like, "Oh, you're into fitness, and we rarely find fit Indian women out here. So why don't you come and join us, and you can work as a trainer?" I said, "I'm a
Right.
doctor. I was actually working in a hospital at that time." I said, "I don't know anything about teaching exercise. I mean, I enjoy doing it.
Right.
Maybe I don't know if this is a good fit for me, but I thought let me just give it a try before I leave to Scotland." So
Right.
I just went in and I was just, I enjoyed every bit of F45 is a functional training based, fitness franchise. And I fell in love with functional training and to a point where I left CrossFit behind and I'm like, I'm going to pursue this. So I think after that, although everything was ready for me to leave, I felt like a very big calling. I felt like, this is where I belong. So it took me a while to like convince my parents and say, let me stay back, let me take this on seriously. Because for a while I was juggling between the hospital and the gym. And
Right.
then I finally left the hospital and I thought, let me just move on to this fully. And then from there on, I started studying and doing a lot more courses and all of that. And then,
Right.
wanted to pursue it full time. But I think Devil Circuit happening and the F45 owner finding me then sort of gave me a direction that I was looking for, but I didn't really know
Right.
how to find. So I
Right.
guess that would be the turning point of my fitness journey twist.
Wow. Wow. Very interesting journey. And you said you went for Devil's Circuit. You went into, participating, and then you ended up winning. So how did that happen? Like, tell us a little bit about.
Honestly,
This doesn't happen to people, right? That they just go that I'll participate and end up winning, right?
I know. I mean, I wish I had a better explanation. I wish I could train for it and won it for that reason. But I think I was just lucky, and also because I think the kind of training I was doing was very full body based, and it was always compound. It wasn't, I don't think I missed out training on any important muscle groups. So it sort of indirectly prepared me for something as crazy as a military based obstacle circuit.
Right.
And I think a little bit of at that point when I did Devil Circuit, I was doing a bunch of things together. I was doing CrossFit, I was doing functional training, I was playing ultimate frisbee for a Chennai team. I was also sprinting early mornings at 4 a.m. So I was doing a lot of things, but I was just doing it for fun. I was just doing it for the
Wow.
feel that it was giving me. Didn't really target specific goal or have any specific goal. So I think when 2014 was, they just had a city-based sort of a thing, but 2015 was when they had 6 cities over 6 months, and whoever won the series would be titled the fittest woman and man of the country for that year. So I think
Right.
when that happened, again, I just won Hyderabad for fun, and then I thought, okay, let me try another city, and I won that, and I thought, okay, let me try another city, and I won that. So from there
Wow.
on, it was just like, this is really exciting, but it was really, really, really hard.
Yes.
Because you had to
Of course.
keep winning to go on to the, to stay on the leaderboard. And it's
True.
always fun to do a circuit, but it's not fun to keep winning. It gets really challenging. So again,
Right.
I think the competitive side of me came in, and I was like, I need to do this because now I'm in this and I have to win it. So I
Awesome.
think it was just probably a lot of willpower and just trying to attack whatever I had at that point. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really inspiring. And yes, it does take a lot of willpower because I don't think it's everybody's cup of tea. And
Yeah.
to just get to that level and keep winning. Tell me something when you were participating or when you were doing, when you said a lot of things were happening for you together and you were doing so many things together. You were also at that time practicing you were a doctor and you were practicing medical,
Yes.
right? So, how did you manage? Like, you were doing so much during the day, and being a doctor is a very demanding profession. So, how did you balance between the two?
So Honestly, it was something I needed during a time like that because I just finished my MBBS and I was working as a medical officer at this bariatric hospital in Hyderabad. And even while I was doing that, I would take leaves and then go and do my ultimate frisbee tournament. So frisbee is a huge sport in India now, and it's a mixed
Right.
sport, so it has men and women in the team. Um, so women players were a lot in demand. So I was really getting a chance to practice wherever I went. So I chose a Chennai team because it was really good back then, and the team was really friendly. So what I did was I sort of while I was working in Hyderabad for a bit, I asked for an observership in Chennai, and I worked at Apollo. Chennai for a bit, just so I could practice with the team, and
Right.
also sort of keep working on the side. So I sort of juggled that way. But when I was in the city, my mornings, early mornings were when I would try and finish my workouts. And like I said, my day would start at 4. I would make sure I went to the stadium, did my sprints, went back to the gym, did my CrossFit workout, came back to the hospital, then did my duties. And I mean, at least I was blessed to not have that packed a schedule in the hospital because it was a bariatric hospital. So most of the surgeries were elective. And there weren't
Right.
as many emergency cases. It was a
Right.
little bit leisure than my other doctor friends at that time.
Right.
But I somehow had to squeeze it in. Like I said, I just had the will, and it sort of gave me this. It was like a good vent in the middle of this medical chaos. To be honest,
Right.
it really was my source of meditation. So I could miss anything, but I didn't want to miss my workout. So it was really helping me function through the rest of the day. So I
That's
somehow had to make time for it.
wow. And I love how you're describing something as tough as CrossFit and functional training as meditation. It's just a very nice description, not something that I've heard before. So, a very nice description. And then you were working with F45, and then you moved on to start your own brand, which is Vigour. How long you have been doing, running this brand?
So I worked for F45 for about 4.5 years, and initially I started off as a trainer. Then I moved on to working as their head trainer and studio manager. So
Right.
I just felt like I absolutely loved group training. I just felt like beyond a point, I really couldn't focus individually. It's hard to watch 27, 30 clients at the same time, and yes, you are really changing their lives, but it's not a very
Right.
personalized sort of an approach. So I felt like something
Right.
was missing, and I also wanted to do a lot more with where I felt like my life was heading. I was doing a lot of fitness certifications. I started to specialize in different areas of fitness, and I felt like I would not be able to do that if I didn't move out. So that's when I decided to start my own brand, and that's how Vigour happened. And Vigour is
Right.
basically like everything I basically believe in, and whether it's fitness, healthy lifestyle, nutrition. Because I specialize in all these areas, I wanted to sort of create this umbrella brand that I could work under,
Right.
and that's how Vigour happened.
Right, right. That's beautiful. And when you did, like, you first started as a doctor and then you went into CrossFit, you left that profession, you started with F45, did that for a few years, left that, and then started your brand. So there are a lot of these points that are coming in, which I feel that were like a transition point. And I'm pretty sure that it sounds really amazing, but there must be a few challenges in the back end which you must have faced during this entire transition. So tell us about a little bit of those challenges and how did you overcome those?
Yeah. To be honest, I think I definitely say I feel quite blessed for the flow of the events in my life. There were challenges, but I feel like it was still a very beautiful transition. And I'm someone who looks at every sort of an obstacle as, a lesson. So I'm very, very grateful for everything I have come across, positive or negative. But in that way, I think also being a female individual into fitness is also something that came as a blessing for me because you're approached easily, you're given chances easily, and it's very rare in India. Now it's picking up, but in 2013, 14, very few women were into fitness. So it was a
Right.
very rare, especially those. I mean, I don't know of anyone who has moved from medicine to fitness. So it was a very rare combination. So opportunities wise, I was very blessed to find them easily. But I would say taking them on was, a big decision. It was a big task, and it did come with a lot of challenges. I think the biggest thing was for me to sort of make my family understand these jumps, because initially they were like, okay, so she's doing her medicine, and maybe she's going to become a practicing doctor soon, and maybe her postgrad, and so on. Then I
Right.
decided on Scotland, and then they were like, okay, maybe she's going to go to Scotland and do all of this, and then I was like, no, I'm going to stay back and be here. So at every point, I sort of confused my family, understandably. But I think what I ended up doing with them was, every time I went to a devil circuit course and came back, I would come home with different bruises, like, at different injuries. And all they were very confused all the time. And they're like, what's going on? We just see you come back
Right.
with more bruises. So for the last one, where I knew that I was going to win the title of the fittest woman in the country for that year, I took them to Delhi for the grand finale, and then they could see the entire circuit from the audience, and they saw me do the course. I
Wow.
think that was sort of very moving for them. And although, what it really bothered me that they didn't really understand my passion, I think that moment sort of nullified everything, because I could make them see what I really, really, truly believed in. So I think that they really felt bad, and they were like, maybe we should have put you in sport as a kid, and maybe we shouldn't have really forced you into joining medicine. But the
Right.
good thing is that, I do have that doctor title before my name, and I'm grateful for the degree I've completed, and it does
Right.
add huge value to what I do right now. So I think, those everything that I've been through during med school, it was pretty traumatic. I tend to, even now, forcefully forget those poor memories of, the way I was slogging it out and the way I was trying for these exams and really, really struggling. Um,
Right.
it is quite traumatic. So much so to the point that I got, the words peace in Sanskrit tattooed on my back during my med school, because I was so like
Oh
disturbed
God.
by the whole process. But I think now to look back on it, I think my parents were only obviously, wishing for the best for me, and they wanted me to obviously have a good degree and stand out, and the rest. But I think now, from there to now, I don't have any regrets. I'm glad I finished my course. There was a point I threatened to run away between my course, but I completed it, and I'm glad I did that. So I think the initial struggle was basically to sort of explain to the people around me. Although I'm someone who absolutely believes in just blindly going by what my heart loves, but of course having family around is obviously going to make a big difference. You can't just go on with what you love, and you can't just follow your passion. So you need to
Right.
explain yourself at every point of the way. So I did have to do that, and I think eventually they understood that this is really what I love doing. And when they started seeing that I'm actually doing well for myself, and I'm comfortably living right now, I think they've come to terms with the decisions I've made. I think from the transition from working under someone to building my own brand, that was something that again I'm grateful for. There's a lot of ups and downs when you work under someone and when you're not really
Right.
your own boss. And I think at that point I really understood that I work best when I'm working for myself, when I can create what I really wanna, what I really believe in. But what it taught me is, it taught me a lot about people. It taught me a lot about clients, different kinds of clients, and different kinds of, issues you come up with when you're running the management. And there's so many
Right.
things you learn through that process. But it definitely gave me a lot of experience to move on and launch my own brand. I think I'm grateful for that as well. So there were a lot of struggles in understanding how that works and how do you create your own
Yes.
thing, and and how are you going to build your own clientele from there when you move out of such a big brand. So there were a lot
Right.
of steps, involved in that transition. But again, I was lucky enough to sort of find a niche market for myself, like whether it's pre-postnatal exercise or those with injuries. And my medical degree definitely came handy there. So I think, yeah, the process was a little bit all over the place, but I think,
Right.
like you mentioned in the start, it was a very good flow for me. It was a very beautiful transition from where it was to where it is now. Yeah.
Right. So really, and I'm pretty sure your parents are really proud of when they saw you, in the circuit at that point of time, and now also they are very proud of, what you're doing today. Also, the fact that your medicine and your degree and your studies and education in that field really helps you in creating this niche that you have, because there are a lot of people who are in fitness, but you truly understand. And definitely, when it comes from a doctor, we all listen. Like if our friend says that, "Hey, do this," we're like, "Yeah, whatever, whatever, forget it." But when you say a doctor says something to you, you definitely want to pay attention to that. And then with your, of course, knowledge of fitness and everything combined together, you have definitely carved a niche for yourself, and it is really great. Tell me a little bit
Okay.
more, predominantly in Vigour, what exactly, is there any particular group of people or some kind of specific requirement that you cater to? Tell us a little bit about the niche that you work with.
So, actually, a lot of people, because if you just see my Instagram handle, it is all over the place because I just tend to, put out there whatever I love and whatever I'm obsessed with. But I think people are quite confused with what I actually do right now. So I basically, under Vigour, I do personal training, which is completely helping people reach, their fitness goals. Whether it's those with injuries, whether it's elderly clients, whether it's those with health issues, or if they're pregnant, postnatal, if they're an athlete, any kind of, individual who has a specific health, weight, or fitness goal, I help them, with that, reaching those goals and maintaining them. So apart from personal training, every weekends before the lockdown, I used to have group, fitness classes. I used to conduct them at Aramale, and it was a lot of fun because I was missing training and groups that I used to do at F45. So I started doing group classes over at least the weekend, so I can be with these people. Apart
Right.
from that, I specialize in clinical and sports nutrition, so I also do diet consults under the brand Vigour. And I think what I absolutely love the most about Vigour is my wellness and fitness retreats. So every few months, I keep hosting these fitness retreats. I usually have them in Goa, and
Oh,
it's basically my way of a healthy getaway, but at the same time, you're trying to use fitness as a form of mindfulness and just
right.
helping people come back to the moment and allowing them to self introspect and see where they are in life. Because a lot of times, like I initially started off, you forget that movement and exercise can actually be a form of therapy. It can be a form of meditation. And it helped me. When you ask me about the small obstacles that I've gotten over, I've absolutely gotten over and gotten through them and still fight them with fitness. When I'm angry, I work out. When I'm sad, I work out. When I'm happy, I work out. So there's a lot you can do with fitness and use it in the form of therapy, and that's what I wanted to bring in my fitness retreats. And I call them Chitta, and Chitta means mindset in Buddhism. So for me, exercise is a lot of mental, willpower to get yourself through a workout. Everyone has
Right.
goals. Everyone wakes up and thinks, I want to become this one day, or I want to start working out today. But how many people can actually stick with it? How many people can actually stick to a routine and make sure, they're doing it day in and day out until they reach their goals? It takes a lot of willpower. So I think that's what I sort of teach my clients on my retreats. Yeah, I take them out to beautiful locations. I love going to the very unconventional side of Goa, whether it's in the middle of forest or in the middle of lakes or something very beautiful that you don't really think of when you think of Goa. Of course, we do beach workouts and functional training and things like that. But we also do silent trails where we're just, maintaining silence throughout the trail, and we're just thinking about life and just being open to the noises and the sounds of the birds and things like that around. So every task that I do at Chitta is sort of bringing them back to the moment and making them realize that right now is beautiful. And,
Wow.
you really don't have to think about what you're going to go back home and do, or what do you have to do at work, or what am I doing with my life? And, this moment is precious. And how do we look at that every single day of the life? And I think that's what Chitta makes you realize once you're done with the retreat. We've had such emotional encounters with the groups that we've gone with. Everyone ends up tearing up at the end, and we have such lovely experiences we share with each other, because it's not just the love for fitness that we're combined with, but also just in general passion for life. Everyone has a passion for life. It's just how do you find it? And I think that's my way of using Vigour is just helping every individual find their passion for life. And
Wow.
yeah, that's probably an elaborate description of what I do under Vigour.
No, it's beautiful. This is now after hearing you, it makes me that the lockdown should end soon, and I should also look forward to your next retreat that's
Definitely.
happening. And it's so, what I'm getting is that it's not just about the body, it's a holistic, you work out on the holistic fitness, so it's body,
Yes.
mind, and soul that you're working on, which is beautiful. And that's really lovely what you do. And I can just imagine and visualize while you were talking, I was just visualizing that it'd be so amazing, so beautiful what you're doing. Dr. Sneha, just tell me one more thing. You have had so many experiences of, in your life of winning the circuit and even working and, transitioning from the medicine to the field of fitness and then starting your own brand. If you have to pick, I know all of these moments and you are grateful and you believe in the moments only and living in the moment. But if you have to pick one moment that really stood out for you, that one aha moment, like you felt really, really pure joy or, truly happy. So what was that?
Like you said, it's actually very hard decision. I've had so many lovely moments. But I think the turning point of my life, and probably what made me really focus on this fitness as a career option, would definitely be winning Devil Circuit and winning the Legends Cup in 2015 to 16. So I think every circuit, like I was describing earlier, it was so hard. It's not easy. It's a 15 obstacle, 5 kilometer obstacle course, and none of them are easy obstacles. It only keeps getting harder and harder with every city, because every city the terrain is different. There's so much going
Right.
on. I think there were also moments where every circuit, almost towards the end, I end up, getting so emotional and almost tearing up towards the end. Just either knowing that I'm winning it or knowing that I've endured that pain. Um,
Right.
and I think for me, it always takes me back to how I endured my entire med school, and I somehow got through it, and I somehow did well. So I think my what Devil Circuit reminds me is that you'll always have those moments. You'll always have this. The entire path is feels like the darkest side of the tunnel. But when you win and when you're out, it's light. It's beautiful, and it just shows you what you've actually gone through. And I think the circuit, with every circuit, every time I went back, every time I felt this strong, emotional feeling towards the end. And the crazy thing is that the last obstacle is actually just an ice bath. So you just dive into it and you finish it and you come out. So I would always cry before the ice bath, because I'm like really emotional, tearing up, running, and then I dive right into the ice bath, and I'm like this crazy moment right after you come out. It's almost like a brain shock. So I think for me, it taught me a lot. It taught me that I can actually push through a lot, and I'm really, really strong-willed. And it takes a lot for an individual to accept that about themselves, and accept those obstacles, and accept the fact that you've gotten through it and you've done well. So I think it always, every time I feel low, I think about that moment, and I go, I've done it, and I've done it, and I've done it multiple times, so it's absolutely fine. And also,
Wow.
like, my journey wise, it obviously showed me that I was definitely doing good at what I was doing, and there is scope for me to pursue this as a career. So I think that was definitely the biggest turning point of my life, and it happened for a reason, and it's the only reason I'm here. So I probably wouldn't have ever thought of, making a switch in this, my career otherwise. So that would definitely
Wow.
be the aha moment of my life.
Yeah, and it just sounds so, excruciating as well as at the same point of time very relieving and really, like really, really beautiful at the end of the day. So I can totally, I can't relate. I can't say that I can relate because I've never done something, but I can understand what you're trying to say, and that's really beautiful. We are getting a lot of questions which are from the audience. So there was one question that I read was that somebody said, let me just go through above. So people are asking, could you please talk about a little bit on intermittent fasting
Yeah, this
and
is
if it works for
Asi,
babies?
guys. This is my dog. He never leaves me.
Hi.
So
So,
that's someone saying Asi, Asi, Asi. Intermittent fasting. So the thing is, you have different kind of fat diets, right? So I believe that probably intermittent fasting, which I'm actually on at the moment, is probably the most bulletproof kind of a diet regime that you can stick to.
right,
It's purely because it's just absolute science. It's logic. So what happens is your body really doesn't start burning fat until it's been 10 hours or more. So the whole concept of intermittent fasting is that you eat for about 8 hours and you're fasting for the rest of the time, which is 16 hours. So, or it
right,
can sometimes be 10 hours and 14 hours. So it depends on how long you're fasting and eating. So the whole point of the fasting period is that you're sort of kick-starting and you're pushing the body to start burning the fat because it's more than 10 hours of starving, or rather
right,
fasting. Um,
right,
so the body sort of gets into this position where it also burns a lot more fat, apart from the carbs and other sources that it's getting the energy from. So that's the
right,
reason it's one way you're really putting on lean muscle as you burn fat, because intermittent fasting also ups your growth hormone levels, which is, the hormone that you require to put on lean muscle, like lean in the sense like how athletes look. So
right,
it's a very good, way to actually get shredded and reach all your fitness and weight goals. So all I would say is that during that eating time, you have to make sure you're eating clean, because there's no point of sticking to that window of eating and fasting but eating crap during that time. So I would
right.
suggest also eat clean and make sure you're getting good nutrition in during that period as well, and you're sorted.
Right, that's beautiful. And Miraya has written that she has more knowledge than an average MBBS doctor. Trust me, I bet she does.
How
So
sweet.
that's really
Thank you.
sweet. Yes. There's another question. This is from Shanali. She is asking, do you recommend a particular yoga for working women or any recommendation on food and its quantity?
Okay, so I would probably prefer answering the latter, because the only thing I don't know much about, I don't specialize in, is yoga. And
Right,
that's something I probably want to study in the future. But right now, I'm just busy doing too many fitness courses. So
right,
with nutrition, see, it's very specific to an individual. I'm not someone who believes in saying, follow this and you're sorted. Every individual has
right,
different requirements, different health issues, different goals, and obviously age, sex, and their activity levels matter. So you got to your quantities and the protein intake and your micronutrient breakdown. All of this depends on the individual and their
right.
requirements. But I would say, on an average, I think everyone should just be probably concerned about the amount of protein they get in, and at least try and stick to body weight's quantity of protein. So let's say if I weigh 50 kilos, I need a minimum of 50 grams of protein for basic functioning. And if I'm someone who's also working out, I'm someone who wants to look a certain way, who's trying to, achieve something fitness wise, then I need to increase the amount of protein. So there's a lot that you need to take into focus, but I would say focus on the protein. And with regards to quantities, try and at least stick to about 2 to 3 meals of, good fiber-rich food, whether it's your brown rice, quinoa, whether it's your fruit, veggies. Make sure you're getting all of these in. And I think you saw it. I can't really give an, accurate diet plan because it's again based on
Thoughts.
every individual.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Wonderful. So I'm sure if you have more questions about diet, you can reach out to Dr. Sneha directly. She would be more than happy to help you out, and
Yes.
because that's what she does, she's good at it. So do reach out to her. If you have to give one more tip, and this is my question because I also want to know it from the audience perspective, that during this lockdown, if you can give one tip to all the audience how to, we are feeling this lot of emotions right now when we are in the lockdown, and mix of emotions, and then there's stress and we want to go out and things are not normal. So how do you suggest, or what advice would you want to give to people to manage the stress level at work, at home, or working from home? So
Yeah,
yes.
I know there's a lot. I myself went through like, so many emotions in the start of the lockdown because honestly, no one knew what was happening. We are all living
Right.
in a, proper pandemic. So it was quite a bit to take in. I understand a lot of y'all are, handling many emotions and not just from work. There's also family stress. There are probably children around all the time. I train clients and the kids are always around, and I can understand how chaotic it is. I
Right.
think what I tried doing in the start was I actually put out 3 free guides just for people to, follow from home. They're workout guides, but the first one I put out was a holistic guide where I also wanted people to focus on their mental health because that I felt from my own experience was the first thing that affected me. And then, then I was like, okay, maybe I should start working out. But the first thing that affected me was mentally what is going on right now. And is
Right.
everyone we know, are they safe or, are they going to be fine? Thankfully,
Right.
we're hoping that the lockdown's coming to an end. But I think through that guide, I wanted to express to everyone is that, we should always compartmentalize what we're feeling, whether it's
Right.
work-wise, whether it's career, whether it's family, whether it's, just emotionally feeling any kind of stress. I think when you compartmentalize your thoughts and sort of put in, basically put everything down, it really helps clear out that clutter in your head. Because half the time
True.
it's not because we don't understand what's happening, but we honestly don't understand how to categorize what's going on. If you really sit and think about it, you have certain goals for family life, you have certain goals for career, you have certain goals for your mental health, you have certain goals for future projects. So there's always, it's always organized if you really want it to be. And if you
Right.
panic, everything seems like a clutter. So I
True.
think what I would suggest to people is start penning things down, start really putting down your thoughts, start setting goals for yourself. We've had ample time. All of us had close to 2 months of a lot of, free time that I don't even know if anyone's going to get again. So
Right.
also the next few days that we have, I know pretty much most people have gone back to their routine, but there are a lot of people, like you said, working from home and still dealing with a lot of stresses. I think all
Right.
you got to do is just compartmentalize, pen your thoughts down, and you'll probably find all the answers yourself. And always try and think with a calm mind because when you panic, nothing makes sense. And when you
Right.
panic, all those goals that you've already set, you feel like you'll never achieve them. So I think
Right.
it's fair to think that all of us are in this together, and all of us are probably going through the same thing. And just knowing that would make you feel that you're not alone, and help you get through this period. I guess that's just what I would advise.
Absolutely. And yes, I agree with you 100% that it all starts from the mind. If you have control over that, you could really handle a lot of these emotions. And I can relate because it was the same thing with me. And the first thing that I worked was on mindfulness. So it is really important to just like take control and just control your thoughts maybe a little bit on where it is going and how you're feeling at that point of time, and acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't acknowledge and it makes it worse. So really beautifully said, and I'm sure that the audience also took that advice from you. Um, Now we are kind of running out of time, so I have actually taken a lot of extra time. So if I have to just, and I always ask this to all our speakers, and this is something because we have this initiative of School of Life. The question that I always ask towards the end is that if you have to take your own journey, right, and you have to just think about your complete journey, and you need to just, complete this statement that success comes to those who, right? So how would you complete it for yourself?
Um, I mean, it's a bit cliched, but I would say success doesn't just come to to those who follow their passion or their heart blindly, but it involves a lot of hard work. So, but what I love about success that comes with fashion is that because you know you've chosen that path, you know that you're following your heart. You just have yourself accountable for, and you know that you're going to work for it. So I think a lot of individuals think that, oh, I just love this, I'm going to go for it. But I think what really brings out true success is finding that passion and actually working for it day in and day out. Because you stop hustling, you're not gonna stop. I mean, you're not gonna keep succeeding. So I think you keep hustling, and that's what probably would work.
Wow, beautiful. So success comes to those who follow their passion, right?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, and I totally agree with that because yes, passion is something that drives us, and everything else just fall into place because then you put in consistency, you put in hard work, you put in accountability, and everything just comes in together. So, really beautifully said, and that actually shows in your journey also, which is following the passion because you exactly did that. You followed your passion, and today, yeah, never give up. Audience is saying never give up, and that's exactly what the whole story of Dr. Sneha is. Just out of curiosity, another extra question: how old is he? Because somebody
Oh,
asked in the audience.
Asi is going to be 2 years in 2 months. In 2 months, so he's
Oh,
about, yeah, 22 months.
23 months, okay. It's a cute dog, really cute. I saw a few
Thank you.
videos also of him, so.
Thank you.
All right, so that was a bonus question for you because, yeah, he was just part of the live with us today. So I would thank him also for joining us today. And thank you
Oh.
so much, Dr. Sneha, for coming on our show, sharing your insights, sharing your journey with our audiences. It was wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I absolutely love that you're doing something as wonderful as this because there are a lot of stories out there that people need to listen to. And like you've spoken over the phone with me, I think what we forget is, nothing that we read ever comes into, it never comes handy. It's what you actually learn from your own life experiences. So I think that's lovely that you're actually bringing in so many journeys on board and sharing it with so many others. So I'm really grateful that you had me on this show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to our channel Indian School of Image Management on YouTube. You can also click the bell icon and get notification for our latest videos.